Good evening, all. And this is week 2 of GRA 310. There are many ways to transfer files to servers, and some servers have built-in or file transfer protocol capability, as does GeoCities. So what I'm going to do briefly and clearly, hopefully, is show you how you can transfer your files to your GeoCities without having to use CyberDuck. Because several of you, when you've opened up CyberDuck, there may be firewall issues, there may be spyware and virus detector blocker issues that prevent you from using CyberDuck. That's what I found in a few cases. So I'm going to show you how to use GeoCities' built-in FTP client. Now I'm going to assume that you have set up a GeoCities account by now. Note their peculiar domain name. I think it stands for Samoa, and so expect some delay. When you refresh, it may not be immediate. Now I've already signed up in an earlier video I think I put out, so I'm considered a member. You should go to this dialog box. Now I have to add that if one browser doesn't work for you for GeoCities, try another. For example, I just had problems with Chrome. I'm going to try to use Safari. You should come up with this dialog box if you're a member. And I made my domain name Frank Tierney all run on, and then include your password. All right, so you should get to this dialog box. File Manager is really a built-in FTP client, so you can transfer your files from your desktop computer to your server. And you can create both new folders. Now, folders in WebSpeak are called directories, okay? They're synonymous. So if you see a new directory here, dir, it really means folder, okay? That's the metaphor. Or a new file. Now, you're going to want to put your files, when it comes to time, say your images, your photographs for your restaurant or your client, you're going to put them in a folder, which you'll probably aptly name images or something like that. That's a few weeks in the future. I just want you to know that, as far as I know, you cannot upload to GeoCities a folder filled with items. You have to create the folder on your server and then upload files into that folder. And I'll show you how it does. Now, up here, you'll be building your web address, okay, or your directory tree. And notice that there's a /. What's presumed before this is whatever your name is, your username. In my case, Frank Tierney. So even though you can't see it, you can sort of assume that the address is going to be http://www.geocities.ws/Frank Tierney/ and then whatever folder I put in here is going to fit between 2 // and that is the address for that folder, and then within that folder will be some files. So let me show you how that's done. Over on the right-hand side of this dialog box, notice that you can delete things, you can rename them, and you can download them. Or you can upload zipped files, but I haven't had great success with that, so we won't bother with that. So what I want you to do is, start thinking about the future. You may host your web portfolios on GeoCities, or you may want to develop them and then move to your own domain sometime in the future. That's probably preferable. But just for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to create a new directory, and I'm going to call it GRA 310. Okay. Now, naming conventions, I'm sure you've all learned something this week. I'm not going to leave any spaces. Naming conventions for files are the same as naming conventions for folders. All right, so you have to avoid word spaces, special characters, all the things that you would avoid in file naming. You need to make sure that your folders are named the same way. And it's pretty simple. This is going to be the name of a folder called GRA 310. I'm going to check this, saying that I approve of that. Once you do that, it'll go back to your directories or your root directory, and here you'll see, okay, there's the folder. Now, if you want to open it, you can just click here. Now, let's see, I want to upload a file to it, and I'm in that folder I just created or directory. I'm going to upload a file. Okay, so I've got something on my desktop called index.html. I'm going to choose it, choose file, and then pardon me for my sloppy housekeeping. Here is that index.html, and then I'm going to say OK. Now, I showed you in a video how your file structure on the server should match what's going on your computer. I mean, if you're working on GRA 310 websites, or by week, you might consider creating a folder or directory within your class folder. Now, you don't want folders and files to get too nested because the addresses become really hard to remember, at least at this point in time. But here's a demo of how you can upload files to your okay, so we can go back to your GeoCities account without having to use CyberDuck. Here's the index.html. You can see what it looks like by clicking on it. I believe you can. You can preview it. Or you can preview it this way. Open up another browser window. I'm in Safari, remember, so I'm going to create a new tab. Oops, let me get rid of this. And I'm going to go to my web address, which is www.geocities.ws/Tierney/GRA310/ All right, and here's what you just did. 2 paragraphs, 2 different sizes of heads, and what else can I say? So that should fit the, and the mission statement from your client. Now here's another little trick I wanted to show you. If you want to view the code, let me move this up here briefly. You'll get this. Here's my browser is Safari, right? Can you see that? Let me move this over here. Safari. Go up to View, or is it C? No, it's different in here. Well, okay, it's different in Chrome. In Chrome, it's View Source, but the idea is the same. Safari, go under Developer, show source, page source. That's the source code, and you should get something like, oh, okay, they have this. Safari's nice. Here it has a web editor here, and it shows your code. So this is, there are web editors built into, it's not just Dreamweaver, into browsers. Here you can probably change things. Now, GeoCities put some code in the head, so don't be surprised if you're looking at your code and you find what looks like gobbledygook now. That's what it does to make it searchable. So don't be confused when you see this bit of code that you didn't include. All right, I don't want to extend this any further than I have to, but just some tricks and workarounds CyberDuck.